Thank you. I'll tell you the truth. I feel nervous. I'm going to combine several physical activities that I love and one psychological label that I loathe. Manic. 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 That's sometimes me. I'm bipolar. I'm not proud of it. But I'm speaking out because I'm sick of being scared of a stigma and hiding in a shame closet. So this is my story about making art out of pain. And to illustrate the struggle and the strain, I've got a metaphor, a medium, and a title that I am sure you can all relate. Act 1, it's a juggle out there. Life flies past so fast, and our long to-do lists can just get so out of hand. Even when we bend over backwards, we still feel like we just got too many balls in the air. Are you with me? Yeah. Good, because I want to move from the universal down to the personal and use this style of 3D storytelling to give you a sneak peek inside a part of my psyche that I seek to hide and ignore, and let you see what it's like to be me when I start to soar. Have no fear. When I've got it all going, my ideas are clicking and my imagination is kicking into high gear. I mean, when all my creative juices are flowing. Well, frankly, it's a little hard to explain just how frighteningly fast the sheer synergy is between the right and left hemisphere of my brain. Thoughts stream past and streak by like bursts of lightning, but oh, the high when my neurons are firing and my imagination is inspiring and the talent agents are hiring, and it's like I've got the world on a string. I can do anything. And when my flip hip rap is totally out of sight, and my career is burning bright, my mind shines with levity and light, and my mania I hide behind this mask, morning, noon, and night. And therein lay my fatal slip. Thought I could captain my own ship of fools, and all caution deny, and the perils of hubris defy, and forgot one of life's cardinal rules, and took the ball off my eye. I mean, took my eye off the ball. And that's when I crashed. Act 2, the inner critic licks its chops. I was 30 years old, and the self-hatred hit hard. I didn't understand, and I overreacted. I quit juggling and stopped exercising, and my mood sank. I was so busy beating myself down, I didn't even notice that physical health and mental health are tightly connected. And my mood sank lower. I went to bed way early, and I woke up way before the alarm with a knot in my belly, a pit of anxiety. I felt drained. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to see anybody. I stayed shut in, and I said no to every friend's invitation. I was pissed at myself, and my inner critic was punishing me by pulling me away from everything that gave me pleasure. And no one ever told me that isolation and anger turned inward is a textbook definition of depression. If you've never had it, let me tell you, depression is a mental illness that causes a sit-down strike in your head. Appetite, interests, willpower, quit working. Confidence, creativity, connection, even hope call in sick. The foreman falls down on the job and shuts down the whole plant. And soon, all self-esteem can do is weakly wave a white flag. And self-sabotage grabs the reins. And here, let me tell you, if you or anyone you love has felt the sting of self-loathing, you know how deep psychic pain cuts you down to shame. It was kept as a secret that clinical depression ran in my family until my Uncle Morty. Clinical depression is what caused my Uncle Morty to take his own life. So when my Aunt Thelma caught wind of my condition, she came over and she would not leave until she got me admitted to the Psychiatric Institute of the Pennsylvania Hospital. I owe her more than I can speak. I was diagnosed major depressive and borderline catatonic. My first visitor was my mom, Judy. She tried to get me to talk to no avail, so she said, "Come on, we're going to go outside and get some air. It'll be good for us to stretch our legs." And as soon as we did, we saw something strange. Believe it or not, there, right on the grounds of a mental hospital, was a 7-hole miniature golf course. Gamely, Judy tried to get me to engage. "Come on, Bob, let's play. It'll be fun." But after she watched me shuffle listlessly through 3 holes with a blank stare, she realized the combination of major depression and miniature golf was like theater of the absurd. And she gave up and she led me over to a little wrought iron bench. And we sat down without a word beneath a tall oak. And then Judy broke the silence by asking a simple question. "Bob, can you give me one reason why you want to stay alive?" I didn't answer. I couldn't think of a single thing. I hung my head and stayed mute. Suddenly, I felt my mother's fingers grip my jaw and swivel my chin, and she peered into my face with a ferocity I've never seen. And she said, "Bobby, I love you so much, son. I worked so hard to bring you into this world. I don't want to lose you. Please, son, please. I want you to promise me you will not, no matter how hard it gets, you will not take your own life." She was my mother. What could I say? I said yes. And for the next several months, that promise is the only reason I stayed on this earth. I got good treatment, and I got great support. My family and friends were always reaching out, but I couldn't let them in. The demon of depression cut me off from any emotional closeness. But my loved ones wouldn't let the blue funk block them out. And one of them, my friend Ray, came over to the hospital to visit and said to me encouragingly, "Hey, Rob, you're a good swimmer, and I just saw the hospital has a great pool." I said, "It has no appeal." He said, "Come on, exercise. It would do you good." I said, "Ray, I'm just not interested in swimming, okay?" Ray surprised me. He said, "Yeah, ordinarily, because normally interest is what leads to involvement. But when you're depressed, it's the other way around." He could tell I didn't get it. So he said it again, even simpler. When you're well, interest leads to involvement. When you're depressed, involvement precedes interest. Somehow, Ray got me to go with him down to the pool. Begrudgingly, I swam one lap. I didn't like it. But a tiny speck in my psyche liked me for trying. And the next day and the day after that, I went back, and the little speck became a seed. And the pool watered it. And I started swimming every day, and my self-discipline helped to turn that seed into a sprout, a little start of self-respect. It was the beginning of a long road to recovery. Ray was right. It took involvement in order to get me interested. And to this day, swimming is a staple of my mental health diet, along with therapy, support groups, and lithium. But that's for a longer story. It's time now for Act 3. Picking up the pieces. I'm breaking the silence because I learned firsthand that depression, the stigma of depression, is a box that's built on 4 S's: shame, secrecy, silence, and separation. And when the separation becomes too much to bear, like it did for my Uncle Morty, the box becomes a casket. This light represents all the lives lost and saved. It's a candle for you, Thelma, and for you, Judy, and Ray, and to all of you who've had to dig deep into the depths of despair and find in the darkness a spark of light. One candle that gives us the strength to break the silence, to speak out, and to dismantle the stigma of depression and all the stereotypes that try to fit us into boxes and confine us. Yes, to rise up is a tall order. And sometimes it feels like it would take sheer magic. But when you've got people who matter the most, who have faith in you, no matter what, you don't have to really believe in magic. Because the real magic is in believing. I will now swallow the boxes. Humor also is a saving grace. And if I could get you to help me finish up with a little finger popping rhythm to those, if we can break the silence, we can beat the blues.